I haven't worked yet very much with the feeling scale, and I feel around money and abundance and attracting that I get really stuck in the feeling of lack and that I have to do something, even though I know up here all I have to do is let go and trust and focus on what I want.
Here's the way we would approach that. Do as much as you can do that is in alignment with the beliefs that you hold. And here's what we mean by this. When you have a belief that your financial well-being is tied to your action, and you don't offer any action, that's just like asking for trouble. It's like saying, I believe it will come this way and only this way, but I'm not willing to do this. And so it's like saying, I want something to come that cannot come. So it's always better to just go with the flow of your beliefs for a while and change your beliefs gently and gradually until you can show yourself that it is not your action journey that's really making things happen. It's your emotional journey. But here's the blunt and really accurate way of stating this. Many times as people come and begin to consciously become aware again, it's a sort of awakening of the power of thought and the power of vibration and the goodness of who you are and the worthiness and the recipient of well-being that is your long inheritance and legacy. Many times people have trouble because they feel like they've got one foot in two worlds. There's this new world of vibration that I'm learning about, but there's this other world of action that I've been part of for a long time. And they will say things to us such as, well, Abraham, you say follow my bliss or reach for the best feeling thought I can find or do what feels good, but it would really feel better to me not to get up and go to work today. When I think about it, I'd really not go to work, and I'd really rather not work with that person. And if it comes right down to it, I don't really like living with this person either. In other words, there are a lot of people who will say, I don't like things the way they are, but I can't just stop doing what is. And we say, we don't want you to stop doing what is, because if you all of a sudden quit your job or ran away from home, you would put your emotional journey into a more chaotic state than it is where you are. And it is emotional balance that you're reaching for. So continue doing whatever it is that you're doing while you put more emphasis on your emotional journey and a little less energy or attention on your action journey. And eventually the emotional journey will supersede the action journey. And eventually you'll get to the place where you'll be so diligent about tending to the way you feel, because that matters most to you. And because you will then have the knowledge that tending to your emotions, which means paying attention to the thoughts that you're thinking and choosing thoughts that are more in vibrational alignment with what you really want, will cause everything to come into alignment. And then you can be one of those delighted humans who then just gets to follow the inspiration for action. You'll find that you're offering no action out of need, that your action becomes almost completely action that is inspired. And then you really will be one of those people who eventually will only be doing what you really want to do. Everything else will be taken care of in some other way.
Yeah, I feel actually I'm a little bit, it feels like on the other end of the scale, like I have so many options that are about following my bliss that I almost don't know which ones to choose.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just pick one or pick two. Pick something, because here's what we always say. Choose something, and then people will say, well, how do I know what's the right decision? And we say, well, just make a decision and make it right. And by that we mean make a decision and then talk yourself into a place of being in alignment with it. Best example of that we've had recently is someone went with Jerry and Esther and all of us on the first Alaskan cruise. And then almost as soon as that cruise was ended, Jerry and Esther announced the Mexican cruise. And someone came to a workshop and said, we had a wonderful time. In fact, it was the best time we've ever had anytime, anywhere. And then you announced another cruise, and now we don't know what to do, because we want to go because we don't want to miss out on something wonderful, but we don't want to go because we don't want to spend that much money so soon on something that we just did. And she said, we don't know what to do. And we said, doesn't matter, make a decision and then line up with the decision you've made. We said, you could choose not to go and then make yourself become in perfect vibrational alignment with it by acknowledging we just went, we had a wonderful time, we tuned up our vibration, we have all of these wonderful memories. We are bringing ourselves into financial balance. There will be plenty more wonderful things for us to do anytime that we want them. Make a decision and line up with it, or make the decision to go. We always find a way to do whatever we want to do. We said it doesn't matter. There's not a right or a wrong in this, but what doesn't work for you is if you decide not to go and then you feel bad that you didn't go, or decide to go and then feel guilty about spending the money. In other words, that's the cross current that goes on. So just pick something and then make what you've picked feel good. That's what balancing of energy is. You don't have to tune yourself up with every other person who's thinking on the planet. You don't have to tune yourself up or tune yourself in to the perfect religious group or the perfect political group or the perfect group who has a philosophy on one subject or another. The only alignment that is necessary for your joyful expansion is your alignment with yourself, you see. And that's ever so much easier to accomplish than aligning with anyone else. And it is really the only path of alignment that there is. When we speak of the path of joy, finding the path to joy through energy balance, we're talking about balancing the energy between you and you, not between you and anyone else, you see. So just pick something and then make it work for yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.